Hello, hello, hello. We are back with Chapter 8, Geometric Figures, Lesson 1, Building Blocks of Geometry. And this is the guided practice. So we just went over different geometric notations and vocabulary. And so I want to give you a chance to try problems 1, 2, 3 on your own. So go ahead and pause right now. Work on 1, 2, 3. When you get done, press play and I'll go over the answers. All right, see you in a bit. Okay, we are back with line EF. Let's go ahead and write the geometric notation. That's just writing in the symbols. So line EF can be written like EF with a line on it like that, or it could be written as FE with a line over it like that. So if you got that one right, great job. On to this one too, Ray RS. Yeah, so Ray RS would be written with a capital R and a capital S, and we would write it down on the piece of paper like so. So. Hold on just a second. Do 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 do. Boom, boom. Okay, so we would write this as Ray RS. So RS, and I'm going to say that the endpoint is R. I was checking the book because it doesn't really tell us where the endpoint is. So I'm going to say that it's with R. Okay, so Ray RS, we're just going to write it like that. Okay, or we could write it as SR. But with this particular problem, it's not very specific about what the endpoint is. So I'm just going to say it's this first letter here. Okay? All right, let's talk about 3. Line segment JK. Just JK? No, I'm not. Okay, sorry. All right, JK. Line segment JK is going to be like this, with a line segment like that or a line segment like that. Either way works. Okay, perfect. If you got those right, wonderful job. Let's move on to this figure. And I want you to complete problems 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, so these are multiple choice, so you're just going to go ahead and circle the correct answer. And here's our friend the pause dragon. Remind you to pause. Go ahead and work out the 4, 5, 6, 7, and when you get done, press play and we'll go over the results. Okay, for the first one, we are back. Let's see how you did on problem 4. Problem 4 wants us to identify a line. Okay, so right off the bat, I know that BD is not the answer because it has a line segment on the top of it, and that is not a line. So you are out. Okay, let's look here. All the rest of these have line symbols on top. So let's look at AD. Is AD a line? No, there is no line, so that's out. What about BC? No, there is no line connecting BC, so that one is out. And lastly, it leaves us with BD. And yes, there is a line for BD, so that is our answer. So if you got that right, woohoo! Okay, let's look at problem 5. It wants us to identify a ray. So the first one, what do I see? Okay, we need to identify a ray. So if I'm just looking at the answers, I know that this one, H, is not a possibility because that is a symbol for a line. So H, I'm sorry, but you're out. What about this sign? This is a line segment. That's not a ray. So G is out. Let's look at AC. So this shows that the endpoint is on A. Okay, is there an endpoint that could be on A? Yes, and it says it goes in the direction of C. So that is definitely a possibility. Let's look at J, CB. So it's saying C is the endpoint, and it goes forever and ever in the direction of B, but there is no line there, so that one is out as well. So boom, if you got F, great job. Okay, let's look at problem 6. It says identify a line segment. I'm just going to look at the symbols. I know right off the bat, without even looking at the picture, that this isn't even a possibility because that is a notation for a ray, and we're talking about a line segment. So I'm sorry, goodbye, A. Let's go to B. B is has a line segment notation, which is good. And we have DB as being the endpoints. Okay, that could work. That's a possibility. What about C? CB. Well, there is no line connecting those two. So, nope, I'm sorry, goodbye. What about line segment AD? Well, there's no line connecting them either. So, nope, I'm sorry, goodbye. So, yeah, number 6, B is the answer. For number 7, it says identify a plane. Okay, let's look at F. We have plane AB. Well, that is nice, but for a plane, you need 3 letters, 3 of the points in the plane as a label, and you only have 2. So I'm sorry, F, but you are, you're just gone. You're eliminated. Okay, G, plane ADE. So I see an A, I see a D, but where is this mysterious E? E is not a point in this plane. So because of that, you are not it. Let's go to H. We have plane ABD. Well, okay, those are all 3 points in this plane, and they're not in a straight line, so that is definitely a possibility. Let's look at plane BCF. BC, and there is no F, so that means this is not a possibility. So if you got all of those right, great job. Okay, let's move on to the next problems. Here, it says identify the figures in the diagram. So we need to identify in this diagram 2 lines, 3 rays, 3 points, 3 line segments, and a plane. So I want you to go ahead. Oh, there's my pause dragon. I want you to pause, work out those problems. When you get done, press play, and we'll go over the results. All right, see you in a bit. We are back. Okay, ready to attack these problems. Let's do it. So we need 2 lines. All right, the 2 lines. Okay, so I see that a 1 line could be XZ. So we could have XZ, or if you put ZX, that's fine, but you need to make sure you have the right line notation on top. Another line would be XY here. That would be another example of a line right there. If you have YX, that would be okay as well. And the third line in this diagram would be YZ. Okay, so I know we only have to do 2, but if you had ZY, that would be the same as long as it has that little line notation on top. So if you have any 2 out of these 3, great job. Okay, the next thing we need to do is identify 3 rays. Okay, let's do it. 1 ray we could have is if Y was the endpoint and we went in the direction of X. So we would say YX with the endpoint on Y. Okay, that would be 1 ray. Or we could have the endpoint on Y again and go in the direction of Z. So that would be YZ. That would be a different ray. A different ray would be to have Z as the endpoint and go ZY. ZY with Z being the endpoint. Or we can have Z be the endpoint again and go in the direction of X. So that would be ZX. That would be another possibility. The last possibility would be for X to be the endpoint and go in the direction of Y. So XY, where X is the endpoint. Or the last possible one would X be the endpoint going in the direction of Z. So if you have 3 of any of those, you are correct. Perfect. On to problem 10. It wants us to label 3 points. So we're going to say point Y, point X, and point Z. You just have to make sure they're all capital letters. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Number 11, we need to identify 3 line segments. Okay, we can do that. 1 line segment would just be XY with the line segment notation. Another one would be XZ. And the third would be YZ. So if you got those right, great job. The last one is to identify a plane. So we're going to go ahead and write the word plane, and then write 3 of the points which are in this plane, which would be X, Y, Z. So if you got all those right, you are doing so great, and I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. Say, I'm so proud of you. Hey, 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 I'm so proud of you. Say, I'm so proud of you. Okay, we're going to turn the page on to problem 13. It says, use the figure for exercise 13. Okay, thank you, we will. This is the figure. So what we need to do is identify which line segments are congruent. That is missing the letter T. Let's add it. Okay, identify which line segments are congruent. So go ahead and pause, figure that out, and then when you get done, press play. Okay, we're going to identify, we are back. We're going to identify which line segments are congruent. I'm going to start with the 1 tick mark. Line segments right here, AC and BD. Those are congruent. So AC, line segment AC is congruent to line segment BD. Woohoo! Okay, the next one I see would be the ones that have 2 tick marks. So that would be AB, which is congruent to CD. So if you have AB, line segment, is congruent to line segment CD, yoka denkimashita, you did a great job, and we will see you next time. Goodbye.